Is there anybody in here today here because you signed up for the class and they said, well, the only ones we have open are online? That's a couple. Yeah, that number is growing. And the folks that raise their hand for that, those are the ones I work hardest to make sure during this orientation I can convince you that you are going to be okay. Because a lot of folks are finding that with population growth here at the college and the need and desire for so many in our community to take community college courses, those numbers and those classes are filling up tremendously. And so more and more I'm seeing that folks are coming in saying, I didn't really sign up for an online course, but this is what they had, and in order for me to meet my goals and stay on my plan and track, that's what I have to take, okay? So I feel you and I understand. Okay? Increased student interaction is something by default that you're gonna get in an online course. It may not seem like it, but you're gonna have to really get involved in your online course, okay? So here's the example. How many people in here are the typical student who sits in the class, does a good job, you're paying attention, but don't call on me for questions? Anybody like that? I prefer to just come and learn, take my notes, smile, and leave, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Right, that's a lot of students, and there's nothing wrong with that style of learning at all. But this is what happens when you take an online course. By default, everybody's on equal footing. There's no spotlight. There's no, I gotta stand up and answer, or I have to stand up here and read my paper. Everybody's sort of behind the scenes, but you're still working and you're still really gonna get to know everybody in your class, but the spotlight is totally removed, okay? All right, how many experts do I have in technology? You just feel like I am just on top of it with technology? I just have all the skills, this is gonna be a breeze. Anybody like that? Anybody here saying, you know, my skills are okay, and I'm willing to take a chance, I'm gonna learn along the way. Anybody like that? Yes? Okay? All right, so this is sort of like a fringe benefit. This is gonna be a perk that you didn't even realize. When you take an online course, not only are you gonna get the course content, you know, you're gonna learn it and you're gonna be good at it, you're also by default gonna up your technology skills like you wouldn't believe and your comfort level. Why? Because you have to know how to use the platform and how to take the class online in order to take the class online. So by default, it's going to spill over into the rest of your life and your skills and usage of technology. So that's sort of like a thing you don't have to work at. It's just going to happen by default, okay? Much less intimidating? Well, definitely. I said the spotlight's off. You know, there's nobody sitting there with the camera watching you take your course. It's you in your own time based on the deadlines the instructor gives you. Makes instructors more approachable. How many people have taken seated courses? There may be a line at the end of class of folks who are waiting to talk to the instructor for one reason or another, and you say, well, I'll just send an email, or I'll just wait, or I'll ask somebody else, okay? With online learning, direct connection. I can email, I can call, I can chat, I can send a message, whatever it is I need to do, I can send it straight to the instructor, and the instructor is going to send it straight to me, okay? The benefit of that is twofold. I have direct communication, but also as that instructor gets to know you, he or she will communicate with you the way that you need to be communicated with, okay? Because sometimes somebody in class may ask a question, the way that they ask it, you still don't quite understand the example that was given or the way that the instructor explained it. But when you're asking a question, the instructor is going to address you and your level and your needs at that point, which is great, okay? So that's what makes it student-centered teaching. We'll move on from here. Now, there are several types of online courses. How many people in here are signed up for a totally online course? That would be the letter E, okay? How many people here are just for hybrid, or you have hybrids also that ended in letter H, okay? Anybody here with W's? A W, anybody else? Okay, just to be sure everybody's clear and you know what your expectations are, I'm gonna go over the definitions really quickly. And E means you never come to class. It's 100% online, all of your communication, all of your assignments, everything is done using Moodle. If you're in a hybrid course, that means you're gonna come to class, whatever those regular scheduled days are, whether it's every Monday or every Tuesday, whatever the dates are, the class days are, you attend, but you also have to do your work online as well. So it's a combination package is what it is. If you're in a W course, it means that your course is seated, but your work is online. So you still have that regular schedule, but all of your assignments will be turned in online. Anybody in here also with regular seated courses that are not online? You have some in addition? Okay, just sort of a note for those of you in those courses. you may still end up using Moodle, just so you know. A lot of our instructors are technology savvy. They're trying to move forward with technology. And even though it's a seated course, they may still have you log into Moodle for what's called a supplement. You've had that experience before. And a supplement means you still log into Moodle, but they're going to have things like lecture notes in the syllabus, things you can simply print or view or watch. There's no demand or expectation that you will have to work online if you're in a seated course and they have a supplement. It's just that. Think about it as sort of like an extra resource where the instructor may have some things they've already gone over in class. They're never going to put any work on those supplements and say you have to take the test online or you have to upload it online. It's just sort of a little second directory that they have. So just so you're clear about that, some of you will see those. Is online learning for me? Does everybody have access to a computer? Access to the internet? Self-discipline. Is everybody self-disciplined? Yes. Sorta, kinda. You can be honest. That's why I have it up here, kinda. Self-discipline is a huge one because this is what happens. A lot of times students will say, you know, I don't have to leave the house or after work or first thing in the morning or at midnight. I can log on. It's just going to be much easier. And, you know, the expectation is that it's just going to be much more simpler. Honestly, I'm going to tell you as the distance learning coordinator, online courses are actually harder because you have to have that self-discipline and that motivation on top of the homework and that type of thing, okay? So in class, in a seated class, you hear, don't forget there's a test on Thursday, and you may say to the person beside you, you know, we can meet for a study group, that type of thing. With an online course, it's you saying to yourself, don't forget you have that test on Thursday. Don't forget you still got to study. You know, the movie, it opened tonight, but I got to study for that test. So you're going to have to make sure that you have that self-discipline. Excitement. Anybody in here just despise technology? Okay, good. That's a good answer, all right? Because you definitely want to have at least a little bit of like for technology because that's going to be your entryway. That's sort of like the gate to get to the class, okay? Okay, online versus face-to-face. What are some of the things that are the exact same? The content is the same. You're going to learn exactly the same thing as your friend or neighbor or whomever that takes the same course but in a seated environment. The grade weights are the same. This is what I tell the students in the class I teach. An A is still an A in a seated course, and an A is still an A in an online course. Same token, an F is still an F. On your transcript, doesn't matter whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face, the grade weight is still the same. Deadlines and due dates are exactly the same. You're going to have the instructor say, this is due by such and such, just like in a seated course. Participation is a little bit different. You're going to have to participate, but normally in a seated course, you walk in, and if you answer a question or just by virtue of coming in the class, you've participated, right? They count you present. They were here, and whether you answered a question or not, you came to class every time you're supposed to. Participation in the online course works a little bit different. They're going to look at when you log in, and are you uploading your assignments or answering your discussion boards, or are you submitting your work on time? That's participation. What kind of effort am I putting into logging into Moodle and doing my work? That's how they look at participation. The quality of work has to be the same, no doubt about it. Definitely not easier, it's the same type of work. The instructors are the same. The instructor that's teaching your online course probably teaches that same course face-to-face, or they probably teach at another community college as well. So we don't have like a different pool of instructors. They're the same qualified instructors that we have face-to-face. Your classmates are the same that are in the seated, and most of them are going to be just like you guys, a combination of seated, some are taking all online. Same type circumstances as well. And then campus resources. Just because you're an online student, and say if you never come to campus, right? You're just a totally online student here. All the resources we have available are still the same to you. The library, disability services, any of those, in tutoring, anything you might need that we offer, it's 100% to you because you're still 100% a student here at ACC. Just because you're online is no different, okay? What are the differences? Well, the list is small. The first thing is the virtual space. So you may not ever come here. That's your virtual space. That's your digital environment. So that's the first main difference. The second and third thing, reading and writing. I have those in bold. You're going to read a lot. Anybody in here not like to read? Sort of, kind of? What about writing? Anybody love to write? Yeah? Anybody just not like to write at all? Okay. So I ask these questions because I want you to think about it like this. Say if you are learning what I'm teaching right now, online? How is it that you're going to know everything I've just said if you're in an online environment? How do you think you're going to know? You're going to have to read it, right? So it's going to be more reading for sure, because everything the instructor wants to communicate to you, they're going to have to write it. So the instructor's doing more work too. They're going to have to write it all out, and they're going to have to write it out into a way where everybody is comfortable and everybody still understands. And then for you, whenever you're going to answer, some of you have raised your hand and answered questions since we've been here today. Instead of raising your hand and just telling me, you're going to have to write it out as well. Now, the one thing you're going to have to pay attention to is grammar. You're going to have to proof all of those things. No texting language, none of that, because the way that you write is what's going to give that impression to the instructor as to the quality of work and the effort and time you're putting in. So just pay attention to it. It's not going to be a terrible change for you, but it's going to be a focus on something different, okay? Discussion boards are definitely a difference, all right? How do we carry on a conversation with each other? Well, in a classroom, we talk just like this, and I can see you shaking your head or raising your hand, that type of thing. In an online course, you don't see anybody, okay? So the discussion board is one of the things you're going to have to do primarily in every online course. The discussion board is the place where you talk to everybody else. So you're going to type, but that's how you're going to talk to everybody else. That's how you're going to be able to study and form study groups. You may still, pick up the phone and call other folks in your class. There are different things you're going to discuss, but that discussion board is the platform for how the instructor is going to say, okay, I can tell that this student understands what I'm teaching, because the way that they discuss it and the way they talk about it proves it. And then, of course, the technological method is also going to be different. What will the instructor ask me to do? Read, write, participate in those discussion boards. You're going to have to send email. You're going to have to upload files. You're going to have to email files. You're going to have to take quizzes online, tests online. You're going to have to complete assignments. You're going to have to work with others. You're going to have projects. You're going to have to learn and be able to prove it. Basically, sort of like the one student in the video said, you're going to do the exact same things you would have done in class. You're just going to do them differently. Everything else is going to be the same. Okay? You're already able to get in, and that's great. You're ready to start, ready to get going on your class. my.alamancecc.edu. It's my.alamancecc.edu. This is a useful site because if one day, maybe it's October, you've been plugging away at your class, you're doing just fine, you go to log in, for whatever reason you can't log into your course. If you come to my.alamancecc.edu and you click on the red link that says lost, forgot password, even if you've not lost it, even if you've not forgotten it, you just can't get in for whatever reason, this is your key to resetting your account. All this does is simply reset your account. So when you click on this particular red link, it's just going to ask you for your 7-digit student ID number, so make sure you keep that at all times with you somewhere with your course materials. First and last name, date of birth, and then password. The password basically, it wants you to reset it, but when you reset it, you can use the same password you did before. It doesn't say, well, you used this 30 days ago. It can be whatever password you want. But this is key, and I get a lot of calls from students who say, I just can't get in. This is what you need to do. It's a quick fix. As soon as you fill out the form and hit submit, you're right back into your Moodle course, okay? So keep that in mind. If you've not set up your account, then this is definitely still the place that you need to start to get going, okay? Now, when you set up that account, by default, that username and that password that you have will get you into Moodle, to WebAdvisor, and your ACC email, all right? So most people, I'd probably say like 99% of all the students that come here already have some type of email accounts. You have Yahoo, Hotmail, AOL, Gmail, you have something. What you're gonna have to do is either A, you're gonna have to use that ACC email and make sure you check it, or B, you're gonna have to forward the ACC email to whatever you're already using. But just know that the instructors are not gonna communicate with you through Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL. They're not gonna send you any messages to your personal account. So if you don't wanna have 2 accounts, that's fine. Just make sure you forward your ACC email so you don't miss out anything. Because I hear so often students will say, well, I didn't get the message, but you have to check your email, okay? Automatically, when you enroll in an online course, we automatically connect you to our Moodle server. Your name's already there, all of your contact information, and that email will sign. So it's an automated system that happens for us, okay? Questions on that? Okay, anybody have questions on the username? Since you already have accounts, everybody should be okay? I don't want to cover anything you don't need. Okay, rules for the road ahead. Some of the do's and don'ts. You want to be courteous. You don't want to use all caps. What does all caps mean when you're typing? It means you're shouting. Definitely don't shout at your instructor, for sure. You don't want to use texting lingo, because remember, the way that they perceive you and your work is through your writing, so you want to be sure that you're using caution when you're writing and checking your grammar and proofing, that type of thing. You want to be respectful, you want to proofread, you want to always stay on schedule. The enemy to online success is not being on track or on schedule. If you don't have a calendar, that's the one thing I recommend you start to use or download or print or buy, however you want to do it. But a calendar is what's going to be one of those keys to success, to stay on schedule. You want to maintain constant contact and visit the instructor if needed. Just because you're online doesn't mean you can't show up at the instructor's office. Not a problem. Doesn't mean you can't pick up the phone and call. So it's not just a solely virtual environment. The instructor expects you to talk to him or her all the time. Maintain constant contact is what I have written. And that's because you don't want to just simply, let me just send in my assignment. You want to make sure that instructor knows who you are. Even if you're just sending an email every now and then to ask a question, or to say, I just want to check in. I just want to see, if there's anything you think I need to do. Somehow find a way to bridge so that that instructor knows who you are online, okay? Be prepared to learn, for sure. Don'ts, we've covered a couple of them. Don't mistake it for social media. It's not Facebook. It's not Twitter. It's not that type of thing. You want to be sure that you are using it for the sole purpose of education. Don't overlook fragments, grammar. Don't ignore assignments. Remember, an F is still an F. And don't overextend yourself. One of the downfalls I see some students make is that they say, well, it's online. I don't have to go to class. I work full time. I can take 5 courses online because I never have to go. The one thing that's just a pitfall is when you sign up for so many things. True, you don't have to drive to class, but the work is still the same. And the amount of work is the same. And remember at the beginning I said you're going to have to read more and write more. So it's very easy to say I can do more and take more because I'm not driving. But that time that you're not driving, you still have to use that time for actual course material. All right, so the first 30 minutes are basically just an intro of sort of where I want your mind to be when you leave today. And we're going to spend the rest of the time actually looking at Moodle, which is really what most people want to come here for, so you can see what it is you need to do, okay? Has everybody been in Moodle before? Anybody not been in Moodle? You've never seen Moodle before? Okay, no problem, okay? All right, now, when you come to Moodle, and this is the address, it's moodle.alamancecc.edu. There's no www. moodle.alamancecc.edu. It's going to bring you to this page. Now, when you get to this page, you're going to see 2 boxes. It's going to say username and password. I'm already logged in simply because my login is slower because it loads every course on campus. So I'm already logged in because it would take too long for me to wait. But when you come in, you put your username and password in, and immediately you'll know you're in because it will tell you your name. It'll say whatever your name is. And if you've uploaded a profile picture, it'll give you that as well, okay? So when you come into Moodle, here in the middle, it's going to say My Courses, okay? And everything that you've already enrolled in will just automatically appear underneath My Courses. So when you're ready to come into Moodle, you click on the title of the course and you're automatically in. So basically, you're just logging in. Which course do I need to work on today? You click on it, and then you're in, okay? So what I'm going to do is show you a couple of examples, and I'm going to show you some examples from some semesters past, just to give you an idea. Okay, the first course example I'm going to show you is in English 232. Anybody in that class this semester upcoming? Yeah, that's good. Okay, I chose a good one to show you then. All right, so this is what Moodle looks like. Basically, down the middle of the screen, that's your course content. No matter what your Moodle class is, no matter what subject, regardless, your course content is mainly going to be down the center of the page. How do we read a sheet of paper? This is not a trick question, but how do we read a sheet of paper? left to right and top to bottom, right? When you come into Moodle, top to bottom. It's the order given, okay? So the difference in a sheet of paper and a Moodle course is this. A sheet of paper, you're just reading. You're just going all the way down, right? In a Moodle course, you're gonna read, but you're gonna click, everything all the way down. So basically in Moodle, what you're gonna have is just a long list of links, okay? So as you click on each link, you will then get whatever information is behind that door. So let's say, for instance, we click on what this particular instructor had is start here. Okay, when I click on it, I now have directions of what to do. Okay, if I go back to my course, the next one will go down to the syllabus. If I need to look at the syllabus, I click on it right here. And there's the syllabus. I can print it just like a normal sheet of paper. Okay, if I go back to my course, the next one, communication guidelines. Okay, so you just go all the way down the row, one click after the other. Now, typically what you're going to find in every course, and remember this is just an example course, but that very top module, and those are modules or boxes or sections, however you want to call them, the very first one is going to have all of your housekeeping, what I call housekeeping rules. They're going to have the instructor's information, how do I contact the instructor, who is my instructor, where is his or her office, those type of things. How will this instructor grade? Do they use a rubric? Any of the rules of the road, that's what's going to be in the very top module, okay? And then once you get beyond that, you have to click on all of that, read all of that to start off. Once you get beyond that point, that's where your actual course begins. So in this case, we have all of the things that are going to make you successful, and then the next modules all the way down that says week 1. And this instructor is given learning objectives, due dates, and then here, this is where the meat of the course begins. So you have some reading strategies. He has a Word document. And if you look over to the left of every link, you'll see a little icon. Probably about halfway through the semester, you'll know those icons by heart. But if it's a Word document, it'll be the little Word icon. If it's PowerPoint, PowerPoint icon. If it's something to listen to, it's going to be the little speaker. If it's a movie, it's going to be a little icon of a camera. So you'll be able to tell what it is you're going to need to do and what you're actually clicking on. Depending on how they've organized the course, he has his activities separate. So it looks like they have an icebreaker assignment. There's a discussion. The little balloon, the little talk bubble means there's a chat room you can enter in. So basically, it's almost like exploring, okay, what kind of link is this? But the one thing you don't have to worry about is every link you click on is going to have all the information and details you need. Okay? The main thing to remember is just start at the top, don't skip, and go all the way down. Now, as distance learning coordinator, I can tell you this also. All of the instructors know what you are and are not clicking on, okay? So I've had students in the past to say, oh, I'm not reading all those links. Well, guess what? We can see that you skipped them. We can see that you never opened them. We can even see what time you clicked on them. We can see what else you read. So be mindful of that. They can definitely tell, okay? All right, so let's look at another example. Okay, this example we're going to do is, let's see. Anybody taking religion this semester? Yes, okay. Couple back there. All right, this is Mr. Durham's introduction to the New Testament. So he has an image and he has his syllabus information, he has instructor information, grading policies, materials. So if we click on those, we see grading policies. This is what he wants to say about how his grades are done, how he gives A's, that type of thing. He also has a section on information about the services at community college here, and then his course starts here, okay? So here he has like an introduction paragraph, what you need to know. He tells you there's a reading assignment. He says there's a PowerPoint, and there's even a quiz. Basically, what you're going to do is just go top to bottom, read each one, and you'll get used to what those icons are. We typically give the online instructors to around noon, in case they're still making some last minute changes, or if it's hybrid and they're still meeting, or whatever the case is. After 12 o'clock on Monday, if you still don't see your classes, then it's time to take action and email or call your instructor. Definitely do what you can to communicate with your instructor, because if there's a technical glitch, not a problem. You know, technology happens, all kinds of things happen during that first week. But the main thing is that you somehow communicate with your instructor. So if for some reason your account's not working or you never see the class, keep calling until you find somebody, because that point of contact will be the one point of contact to let us know that you're trying, and then you're good to go. Definitely don't be one of those students who say, well, it'll show up, it's Friday, it'll show up, next Monday, it'll show up, because what's going to happen, the instructors will drop you. And there are more and more waiting lists, and so you definitely don't want to make it harder on yourself. When you came in the door, I hope everybody had a chance to sign in. If you didn't, make sure you do that before you leave. There's a business card up here, my business card. So I work directly with all instructors and all students. So you can even call me and say, you know, I just can't get in, or I'm having difficulty, or even halfway through the semester, instructors will call me or students will call and say, I have been trying to email my instructor and I can't get an email back. What can you do to help me? And so what I'll do is become the middleman, and I'll try and communicate and help you. So definitely don't feel like, you know, I'm somewhere in an office and I can't help you. I can definitely help you get on the right track. When you come into your course, at the very top, one thing for sure that you will see is something called course announcements, or some of your instructors may call it news forum. It's the same thing. This is the one place, every time you log in, you want to click to see what it is they're saying. The nice thing is, by default, when an instructor posts an announcement or update here, you automatically get an email as well, okay? So make sure early on in the semester, you're seeing and noticing that you're getting an email. If you've not gotten anything, you might want to say, did you post anything, or am I not on the email list? What's happening? Because automatically you get that email, okay? But course announcements is something you just post on. Now, one of the things for sure that you're going to be asked to do is upload an assignment, all right? No doubt, whether it's a web enhanced, whether it's hybrid, whether it's totally online. You notice the little icon, I don't know if you can tell back there, but it's a hand turning in a sheet of paper. When you see that little icon in your class, it means you need to upload something, or you need to turn in some type of work, okay? So how does it work? You as the student, when you see that, it might be called Chapter 1 paper, or first assignment paper, whatever it's going to be called. You click on it, and this is what you're going to see. In this top section here, I just typed, you would find the directions from the instructor here. But this is where they'll say, the paper is due by such and such date. It needs to be 4 pages double space, size 10, whatever their instructions are, you're going to see it there. Down below that, if they've assigned a due date, you're going to see available from, and it closes, the due date closes on that particular day. And then all you're going to see is a box here that says browse and upload. Pretty simple. So most of the work for this assignment is going to take place on your hard drive. You're typing in Word or whatever you're typing in, OpenOffice. By the way, openoffice.org, if you've not purchased Microsoft Word, openoffice.org is the free alternative. Works just as great. You don't have to buy the Microsoft suite, and they're so compatible that when you go to OpenOffice, you can say File, Save as Microsoft Word document. Or if you're in Microsoft Word, you can say File, Save as OpenOffice. So something to consider if you've not purchased the Word suite, or you're not interested in purchasing it. I have it at home. Works great. Totally compatible. So keep that in mind. But basically, you're just going to upload that document here. Okay? As soon as you hit upload this file, teacher automatically has it. Okay? Now, in the past, every now and then, a student may say, well, the instructor said that I never turned in the work, and I know that I uploaded that assignment. Well, call me, and I can look behind the scenes, and I can see your IP address and the types of things you've been doing, and I can say, well, there might have been a computer glitch somewhere along the way, but I can see that this student had this Word document, and this was the name of it, and they attempted to upload it. So if you ever get into a situation where you know you did it, you can call me and ask, okay? On the flip side, we've had students to say, I did that. I can look and say, nope, there's nothing from that login, okay? All right. Questions on uploading a document? Okay, the next thing you're going to be asked to do, remember I said discussion boards are basically the foundation of how all the communication is going to happen back and forth between the classmates in your classroom. It's going to be the little face-to-face icon, looks like two faces facing each other. That means you need to talk about something. So when you click on that, basically what you're going to have, same type of visual look. The directions for what you need to discuss, whatever topic you need to talk about, is just going to be written in that box there. And then for you, what you're going to do is click on the button that says add a new discussion topic. When you click on add a new discussion topic, that's you posting your comments or your thoughts or whatever it is you need to contribute to the class, okay? So pretty simple. Add a new discussion topic. And what happens is this. When you click on that button, you title it. And the little text box that comes up looks something quite similar to Microsoft Word. So you can bold it, you can center it, you can add a picture, you can do whatever it is you want to do to it. Okay? So I'm going to title it Discussion from April. And this is my post. Okay? Whatever I'm going to say at the bottom, all I do is hit Post to Forum. It's the button at the very bottom. It tells me automatically, that little message says you have 30 minutes to edit it. So if you say, oh, you know, I want to add a little bit more, I want a better grade, you can always go back and edit it, okay? So once you hit post, it's there now for your teacher to see as well as everyone in the class. And so those are some other ones I added just as an example. That's how simple it is to post, okay? Now say, for instance, a classmate has posted and your instructor says to you, you need to reply and talk to 2 other people. What you would do, say, okay, I'm interested in this topic here. So you click on it and you read whatever it is that I wrote, and you see over to the right it says reply. You hit reply and it's the same text box. You type whatever it is, April, that's a good post, and then hit submit, okay? Now one key about the discussion board, I'm going to tell you the thing that instructors are looking for: complete thought, complete sentences, and original thought. They do not like things on the discussion board like I agree, that was really good. They want complete sentences, they want original thought, they want to know that you're actively engaged. This is where a little bit more time comes in, because if you were verbally going to participate, you would pretty much give a lot of detail. In discussion, you want to do that same thing in writing, okay? Discussion board grades way more than you think. Just keep that in mind. In some cases, the discussion boards will weigh more than papers because that's how you're communicating in the class. Okay, the next example that I have, it's also a hand with a sheet of paper, turning it in. That means you still have to give something to the instructor, but this time instead of uploading, they may simply say to you, I need you to type your paper directly into Moodle. So this one doesn't require Word or anything. It's just type right here and submit, okay? So when you click on it, this might be Chapter 2 writing assignment. Okay? The nice thing is it's going to look the same. So your directions will be at the top. It's going to tell you whatever the due date is. Okay? And here on these assignments, if you see the words edit my submission, even if you've never posted anything, it says edit my submission. You're going to click on it. And then you just type in whatever your assignment is. Okay? Same text box. And you're just going to say save changes. You're going to type it and say save. The minute you save it, the instructor automatically has your assignment. So this one is just preference as to which one they'll give you. Some instructors only use the upload and say, I just want you to upload everything. Some instructors don't want you to upload. They want you to always type it in. The nice thing about typing it in, you can always copy and paste it. So if you prefer to type in Word regardless, type it all there, spell check it there, paste it in, hit save, same thing. Okay, the last one that I'm going to show you, as far as one of the most common, is the test, okay? Now, test could be pop quiz, could be practice test, could be an exam. It's still going to have the little red check mark. When you see the red check mark, just know that's a test. Your test can be timed or untimed. If it's timed, my advice to you is not to get shaky about it, but just be prepared before you start. Don't start it until you're ready, because once you log into that test, literally that timer is clicking all the way down, okay? And you can't go back and say, can I start over? Not an option, all right? So when you click on it, this may be Chapter 3 test. You click on it, and it gives you a little message. I'm sure it's hard for you guys to see, but it tells you it's going to be open in a secure window. That's how we have the test set. And sort of like the same type of view. You're going to see the title of the test. The directions are going to be there. So this test consists of 25 multiple choice questions. You have 55 minutes to take the test. Once you've submitted the test, you will no longer be able to go back and edit. It'll probably be something like that, whatever they want to say to you. Now at the bottom, yours is going to say start. Mine says preview just because of the login I have, but yours will say begin or start test. And when you click on it, here's your test. Okay? So question 1, Where are ACC online courses found? In Moodle, that's right. What is the name of the distance learning coordinator? April, that's right. Now, at the bottom, the short test, easy test, right? Wouldn't it be great if they were all like this? At the bottom, you have two choices, save without submitting or submit all and finish. I recommend that you try with all your might to submit all and finish, okay? Go ahead and finish the test, because you're putting yourself under some extreme risk and a little bit of danger. If your test is timed, then you're going to say, well, I'm going to save it and I'll come back. Your time's still ticking. So I recommend go ahead and submit all and finish, okay? Now, one of the popular questions I get, and it does happen, you know how you hear those, one of you in this class, this will happen to you type things? It's probably going to happen, but sometimes you'll be taking a test and all of a sudden your computer crashes. I was in the middle of a test. I had one person call, she was almost crying, she was so upset. If that happens, there's good and bad news. If your computer crashes or your internet goes down, whatever the case is, you call your instructor or email your instructor or me, whomever you can get in touch with. Good news is we can reset the test for you. Bad news is you have to start over. Okay? That really is the bad news, especially if you're at the end of the test. But we can reset it to where it sets your clock back over and you start over at number 1 and you're not penalized at all. All right? Now, how can we know behind the scenes if your internet crashed or your computer crashed? I can't see that specifically, but I can sort of tell what's going on with your activity in your account, and there'll be lapses of time, and there's ways we can figure out what's really happening, okay? So we can definitely help you out with that. All right, now there are more things in Moodle to do than this, but those I guarantee are going to be the ones you hit first. They're going to be automatically week 1, you're going to see a discussion board. One of the first things, and you might want to take a note for those of you who are taking notes, there's something called an enrollment verification. Enrollment verification is going to appear with the little faces, meaning it's a discussion board, but what you're going to need to do as soon as you log in that first day, you need to follow the directions and submit your enrollment. It's not a discussion board for you to talk. It's a way for instructors to validate and say, yes, check, that person's here, and they're in my class, and I'm counting them as starting the beginning of the semester. So literally, all you're going to do in the subject line is put enrollment verified and submit. And automatically, they'll know from your login that you're the person that submitted it. And when they see your name and time and date appear, they can say, yes, this person's in my class, they're active, and they're taking my course. So you definitely want to do that. It's a state law now that we have to capture that information. So that's the first thing. By default, it'll be the first practice that you have with the discussion board. Okay? Okay, now, I mentioned to you that at any time you can call me, you can call your instructor, but also in every single Moodle course, over to the left, you have what's called sticky blocks. Sticky blocks are little blocks of information all around your course. And so it depends on the instructor as to what type of information they're going to have. But by default, you're always going to have distance learning support always on the left-hand side at the very top. Okay? So at any time, if you need something right at your fingertips, there's all of your help information. Anybody in here taking CIS 110? Okay? You guys have in that program a new platform called SAM. There's links already. You can click on SAM right there in the middle. Takes you straight to that website to log in. If you run into issues with SAM, I can help you to some extent as far as resetting your password, but that's a different company, different server. So they have a live chat, they have email tech support, they have a phone number. I've listed all of that stuff there. Anybody taking math courses this semester? Okay, My Math Lab, also at the bottom, you can click there. They have a live chat and they have an 800 number also. So I've tried to include those things for you. The instructor cannot turn that block off, so it's always there for you. At the very top, you see the telephone. There's an 866 number. That's general Moodle support. That's just any questions you have about Moodle. The distance learning email, that's my email. My email is also the april.cooper that you have on your card, so either one comes to me. And then that distance learning phone number, 506-4243, that's me too. Okay, so hopefully that'll cover it. If you need to reset your password, remember at the beginning I said my.alamancecc. Well, there's the link to it right there. That goes to that particular website. All right? So you'll always have that information. You'll also always have the second box, which is called ACC Student Services. So if you need to get to tutoring or to the library, if you need the catalog or handbook, all of those are there as well. You will still have to purchase books depending on the instructor. Some instructors will have ebooks, which means you will log into the book also, but that information will be in your course. Some of your instructors will say, as soon as you log into Moodle, here's the book, and you can buy it from the bookstore, here's the ISBN number. So that particular question just depends on the instructor, but that's a good question. Some will say we're using a real hardcover bound book, some will say it's an ebook. Good question. Her question is, when you're taking a timed test and you run out of time, what happens? It basically saves what you have, and it submits it, and it's graded automatically. Okay, so you definitely want to be ready when you start that test, for sure.
But they don't give you any warning?
No warning. It's just going to count down. No matter how you scroll, you'll be able to see that timer. But yes, whatever you've entered, it will submit it for you. I think somebody was going to ask the cost of ebooks. Was that what somebody was going to say?
Are they the same thing?
Are they the same thing? The ebook and the bound are exactly the same book. One's just a digital version, and usually the digital versions are much cheaper. Much cheaper, much cheaper. Okay,
Yes.
his question is there a set time to be online for tests? Typically, the instructors will say one of two things. You have between today and next Monday to take the test. So that means it's up to your schedule when you can take it. Some instructors may say you have 24 hours to take the test. And then what happens is if you're late or you miss that deadline when you go in, the test link no longer works. So you would have to talk to the instructor after that point. So that's why the deadlines are really important, to make sure in advance you know what's coming up, so that you can always get to those links. The difference in how instructors will operate in their course, most of the instructors will say, here are the due dates. I need you to log in 2 times a week or 3 times a week, but just get the work done. Some instructors, very, very few, will say, we need to meet on Wednesday night together as a group and we're going to chat online. Very few of them do that, but it is possible that they'll gather at a certain time. Most of them say, here's the due date, it's at your leisure when you're going to get it done, as long as you meet the due date. Yeah. One last thing I want to show you, and we're at our time, something pretty important. When you come into each of your classes, you're going to have something called an administration block. The only thing you're going to see on your block is grades and profile. This is my login, but you're going to see grades. When you click on grades, your grade report will look like this. And actually, now this is like an example course that I set up just to show you guys, but you would see what your grades look like, so they would be filled in there. So you would see, okay, I did chapter 1, or I did the example for uploading, my grade would be maybe a 98 out of 100. You would see the individual grades for all the items, and then always at the bottom you're going to have what's called a course total. That's going to be your grade for the course. So it gives you a chance to see, okay, what I did on individual items and areas. I might be doing really well on discussion boards, but I need to work on my test. Then you'll be able to see all of those items. Okay? That's our time. You can always email me or call me. Have a great day.